started the week with 11 undefeated teams in FBS, buddy. We've got about half of that amount left. Way to set the tone, Miami.
Yeah, the second-ranked Canes lost Friday night. 3 more top 10 teams went down Saturday. Plus, it could be the last edition of SC Notre Dame. We'll tell you who came out on top in South Bend.
How about them coming on?
Third Saturday in October. They've been doing this since 1939. Number 11 Tennessee against number 6 Alabama. Somebody's going to smoke some cigars. Second quarter, game tied at 7. Joey Aguiar in trouble in his own end zone, trips and tries to get rid of it, but that's intentional grounding. Yeah, they do the safety dance. Alabama goes up 9-7. Ensuing Bama possession, Jam Miller, 12 carries, just 15 yards, but he bangs this one home, and it's 16-7 tied. Here's the critical play of the game. 9 seconds left in the half. Tennessee second and goal from the 1. Aguiar picked off by Zabian Brown. Now the clock's going to hit zeros, so he needs to score here. And he just slips out of that tackle and finishes it off. A 14-point swing, basically. A 99-yard interception return, second longest in Bama history, behind only Minka, who went 100 a few years back. So Alabama, yeah, you can see it. Alabama up 23-7 at the half. Credit to the Vols. They come right back in the third. Deshaun Bishop, who averaged almost 9 yards a carry, and there he goes. Put up a $123 on the ground in this game. Tennessee cuts the Alabama lead down to 10 later in the quarter. Ty Simpson. The lateral to Jeremy Bernard is supposed to be a throw somewhere, but Jeremy just says, that's not going to work. I'll take this. And there he goes. Picks up 18. Nice ad lib for Bernard. Later in the drive, works so well that time. Simpson again to Bernard. Makes a cut, spins, and picks up 17 this time. So Jeremy Bernard having his way. Later, Simpson going to find Rico Scott. Bama lost week 1, haven't lost since. They win this one 37-20. The Tide on a certifiable roll. 40,000 cigars get lit up. Molly McGrath making sure the quarterback didn't feel left out.
Ty, here is your victory cigar. How are you going to celebrate tonight?
I'm gonna go light them up with my boys and enjoy it. But smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, I said it was going to be a 12-round fight in this one. They're a good football team, so no matter how it starts, you got to continue to fight, and our guys did that. Just again, ultimately not on the right side of it in the details.
You know, we played, I think, that whole game and channeled the energy into the right things. You know, being disciplined and all of that. You know, I know there's some penalties at the end, the last couple of drives, but I'd rather make them have to earn it. If we get beat or something like that, I'd rather make them have to earn it than just give up some free yards. And so, just really pleased with the discipline and how we're channeling that energy into the right areas.
It's a cool tradition. I'm not sure the Vols are loving it these days. Frustration continues in Tuscaloosa for that team. Tonight's win by Bama marked the 11th straight at Bryant-Denny over Tennessee, their second longest active streak against a single opponent. They've also beaten 4 straight ranked teams. Unbelievable run by this Tide team. Here's Greg McElroy, who was on the call for this one.
Alabama prevails in the third Saturday in October, avenging last year's loss in Knoxville, Tennessee. Ty Simpson was very efficient yet again, but it was really the story of the defense. They made 2 massive plays in this game, forcing a safety in the first half, and then at the end of the first half, a critical 99-yard interception return to the house that gave Alabama the necessary breathing room to head into the second half of play and take care of business. The Tide rolls on now, having won 4 in a row against ranked competition.
It was a heck of a Saturday slate in the SEC. How's the top 10 matchup between Ole Miss and Georgia going down between the hedges for you? Old pals Lane Kiffin and Kirby Smart meeting up in midfield ahead of the action. We pick it up in the third. Ole Miss with a 1-point lead. Has not been a punt yet in this game, and there wouldn't be one here. Dejon Stribling on the pass from Trinidad Chambers takes it 75 yards to the crib. Rebels still rolling. They go up 28-20 on the ensuing drive for the Bulldogs. It's 1st and 10 from their own 25. Gunnar Stockton looking, finding Chauncey Bowens on the right side. That's a gain of 12. Later in the drive, 1st and goal from the 3. Gunner to Lawson Lucky. That would just be his second touchdown of the day. Failed two-point conversion, leaves the Dogs down 2. Rebels taking over with under 9 to play in the third, 2nd and 15. It's Chambliss to Deuce Alexander. Go get it, young man. Leaping away from the defender, corrals it with just the left hand, a gain of 32. Same drive, 2nd and goal. Austin Simmons in motion. Chambliss takes it in himself. All of the eye candy in the world for that Georgia defense. They were not able to sort it out for the most part on that day. Rebels up 35-26. Under a minute to play in the third. 1st and 10 for the Dogs. Stockton from the gun. Looking and finding Zachariah Branch. Gunner is good for a couple of these every single game. Finding that man down the sideline. Heck of a catch from Branch. Gain of 26. We move to the fourth. Same drive. 1st and goal. Stockton finding Nate Frazier on the swing pass. Gets inside that pylon to bring Georgia within 2. Georgia ball again after getting their first defensive stop of the game, mind you. 1st and 10 from their own 33. Dylan Bell is off to the races, dances around a couple defenders, picks up 17. Dogs move change. Same drive, 2nd and 5 from the 7. Stockton to Lawson Lucky one more again. 3rd touchdown of the day. Georgia scored on each of its first 8 drives in a conference game for the first time in the last 20 years. Stockton goes 12 for 12 in the second half. After a Georgia field goal, last chance for Ole Miss. Chambliss looking, but it's swatted down by Josh Horton to seal the deal. Georgia's defense steps up when it matters most. Georgia outscores Ole Miss 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Kirby is loving it. I imagine the topic of discussion is resilience.
I just told the guys that's a culture win, because you don't win that game if you're not physically tough, mentally tough. We call it hard to kill. And the one thing we're hard to kill. We won't go away.
You know, to be up 2 scores, as I keep saying, fourth quarter against Georgia, at Georgia, and undefeated, to go to 7-0. I mean, that's a kind of one of your lifetime moments, I told them. And it's right there. Or we're sitting here in a very different, we make one significant play in that area there. We're sitting here saying, man, what a great job coming in here, and great job by the guys, getting up early on them and finishing off Georgia to go 7-0. And we didn't.
It's in large part to what Gunner Stockton did. He did it all for the Bulldogs with 4 passing touchdowns while adding another on the ground. He's the 4th Georgia player to hit those marks in a game over the last 30 years, joining Stetson Bennett, Aaron Murray, and DJ Shockley. In Big 12 land, we thought it was Texas Tech and everybody else. They were taking on Arizona State, who was looking for that upset. In 9 minutes to play, they're up 2, 3rd and goal. Sam Levitt back from injury, connects with Jordan Tyson for the score to put the Sun Devils up 16-7. Now 4 minutes to play in regulation. Texas Tech. No Baron Morton. Late scratch due to injury. Will Hammond would run it in himself to bring them within 5. 2 minutes left in the fourth now. Texas Tech 1st and 10. Hammond finding Reggie Virgil. Toe tap for the score. Red Raiders lead by 1. They decide to go for 2. Left side quarterback sweep, and that's just determination to get in there. 1 minute to play now in the fourth. Same score. Levitt rolling right, finding Tyson on the run. 33-yard gain would give them a first down. Levitt with 319 yards and a touchdown on the day. Later in the drive, just 38 seconds remaining. Quick pitch to Malik Brown. That would get into the end zone. Arizona State goes up 4. 3 seconds remaining. Texas Tech looking for a miracle. It's a big heave incoming. Hammond launching the Hail Mary into the end zone, batted around, but eventually batted down. Arizona State holds on to win 26-22. Your final post-game, Coach Dillingham spoke to how the loss earlier in the season helped them lock in.
Now, the reason we could win this game is because we lost the game prior. We don't win this game if we beat Utah. We don't win this game if we have close versus Utah. We only won this game because we were so embarrassed that our guys had a different level of intensity and focus, and we found it. And now the challenge is, through the praise, can we continue to have it? And so I would say it's a positive, but it can also be a negative if we don't use it to continue to drive us.
Week 8 has been great, but not if you entered the week undefeated. 5 unbeaten teams are unbeaten no more. Miami lost to Louisville on Friday, followed by Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Memphis, and UNLV here on Saturday. The last time 5 or more undefeated teams lost in a single week in week 8 or later, some 10 years ago. Back here with Kenyon Barner, Richard Johnson. Let's welcome in 24/7 Sports college football analyst Brad Crawford, here to look ahead to the rankings. New poll released on Sunday. And for the first time in program history, Indiana will be ranked second in the country. It's another 7-0 start under head coach Curt Cignetti. Brad, with Miami's loss on Friday, let's welcome Curt Cignetti and Indiana into the top 10 and into the top 2.
Right, and without a doubt, Indiana has 2 of the best wins this season against 2 top 10 teams. I know Penn State has faltered the last couple weeks, firing James Franklin, but you got to look at what Indiana's done on paper, and it's been very impressive. They beat a pesky Michigan State team today. Indiana's a team that, without a doubt, here at midseason, has a first-round bye in the playoff. And with Miami's loss to Louisville, bad home loss for Mario Cristobal, Curt Cignetti can smoke his cigar and move up in the polls this week.
Their third ranking, number 3 ranking, was already the highest in program history. Number 2 now going to be the new highest ranking in program history, Richard.
Yeah, I have absolutely no problem with it. I think if Indiana wins out and Ohio State keeps playing like this, we may hash out who's really number 1 first weekend of December in Indianapolis. But at the end of the day, yeah, Indiana's the second best team in the country for my money.
No doubt about it. After what I've seen them do against my Oregon Ducks in Alton, and them coming out doing the same thing this week, this is absolutely deserving. Shout out to Coach Cignetti. He has his team playing with their hair on fire. When you talk about embodying a personality, that's what this Indiana team is. They are embodying who Coach Cignetti is and how he presents himself to the world.
They're going to run the table to the Big Ten championship. I think they're going to do it.
They should.
They're going to be the number 2 team in the country. I already welcomed in our Indiana grads. I said welcome to the top 2, and they're happy. They're excited about that, as I am as a Big Ten guy. Indiana starts 7-0 in back-to-back seasons for the first time in program history. Alabama meantime won 6 in a row, including 4 against ranked opponents. Brad, what have you learned about the Tide during this stretch?
They've been able to bounce back. It came from that first weekend loss to Florida State, and credit to Kalen DeBoer for controlling that locker room, and most importantly, Ty Simpson. He has assumed a leadership position at quarterback, played well again tonight against Tennessee, and now with 4 consecutive wins over ranked teams, this Alabama squad has a resume like no other in college football. Would not surprise me at all if Alabama is number 3 in Sunday's new AP poll, and right now they are trending toward a first-round bye as my projected SEC champion.
I have no issue with that whatsoever. Alabama is playing like a top 5 team in the country. They may very well walk into next week being number 3 team. And when you look at what they've done since the Florida State game, it's deserving. This team has turned it around. They shut out all the noise that was being talked once they lost to Florida State and have completely turned this thing around. So I'm right in line with that.
Brad, always knew I liked you. Smart guy. Alabama, to me, is clearly the best team in the SEC, team to beat in the SEC here moving forward down the stretch. I also think that Alabama, to be honest with you, sitting at number 3 makes a lot of sense. And this is the beauty of the new system, the new college football playoff system. It allows you to make a mistake. It can happen, and then you play your way back. You show resiliency over the course of time, over the course of the season. No team is the same in September as it is in October and November. And one loss should not disqualify you from chasing a championship. And it's not going to this Alabama team. They've been able to rebound, put it behind them, and they're a totally different team.
Be interesting to see who they end up playing in the SEC championship. Who will it be? Texas A&M? Will it be Ole Miss? What's going to happen? Could it be Georgia? A lot of season left, but not a lot of season left. Here we are in Week 8. 3 weeks ago, Alabama beat then number 5 Georgia. Here in Week 8, 9th-ranked Georgia beat number 5 Ole Miss, handing the Rebels their first loss of the season. Gunnar Stockton, 5 total touchdowns as the Dogs outscored Ole Miss 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Brad, what are the implications of this result?
Ole Miss is still in great shape to make the playoff. I think at worst, the Rebels are going to be a 10-2 finish team. They play at Oklahoma next week, so that's a pivotal game for them. They need to split these games against ranked teams. We kind of said that a few weeks ago when Ole Miss beat LSU for its first ranked win. And you see in today's game, Trinidad Chambliss played well the first 3 quarters. I think Ole Miss scored on its first 5 possessions.
Yep.
And then Kirby Smart and that defense, man, finally broke serve and kind of caught hold in that fourth quarter. You see the rest of Ole Miss schedule, definitely favorable down the stretch. Probably going to beat a bad South Carolina team. That Florida game last year gave Lane Kiffin some issues. I know Lane Kiffin's name's been attached to a possible vacancy there in Gainesville. So a lot to look over the next 5 or 6 final weeks of the campaign for the Rebels.
You said earlier, just don't have one of those dumb losses on your schedule.
I think there is a silly loss in this Ole Miss team.
You do.
Had to hang on against that Washington State team last week. I understand that was a little bit of a look-ahead spot, but I don't think it's so smooth sailing coming home for them. Yes, they lost that Florida game last year. It could happen again with a Florida team that won't really have much to play for overall later in the season. But then I look at that Egg Bowl Thanksgiving weekend, and we know Egg Bowls can get squirrely no matter who's good and who's not. Now you have a legitimately decent Mississippi State team coming into that Egg Bowl game. Ole Miss better watch out. And that's if they could get past that Oklahoma defense next week that's as good as it comes in college football.
And you led me right into my point. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, and guess what? I'm a drink. The Oklahoma game next week, that is my focus. I understand the Egg Bowl and I understand what that means at the end of the season. But when you look at the defensive front for Oklahoma, that is a task that we will see if Ole Miss is up to.
Trinidad Chambliss will have not gotten anything near that early in the season.
We will see what they can do against it, because that front is absolutely tremendous. It's violent, it's aggressive, they control the line of scrimmage, so we will absolutely see if Ole Miss is capable.
Yeah, that'll be a noon Eastern start in Norman, Oklahoma, hosting Ole Miss. College Football Playoff Selection Committee will release its first rankings on Tuesday, November 4th, getting closer and closer. Brad Crawford will give us his top 12 teams each and every week here leading up to the CFP rankings. He'll be with us when we reveal those rankings as well. Brad, take us through your top 12 predictions for Sunday. Who you got falling, who you got rising?
Yeah, I think Indiana takes a leap into that number 2 spot. I've got Bama